Hey YouTubers, Palm Springs Cindy and Eric are here with you this afternoon. We are going to talk today about once you are with the gentleman or the lady that you have decided to meet for a first date, what are some I'm going to call it like social skills? What are some do's and don'ts? What are some behaviors that you want to enforce, and maybe some that you want to that you don't want to enforce? So I was thinking about dating, and we all of us we haven't dated since we were like in high school, college, and then oftentimes it was with like a group of people, like you'd be at the beach, and then you'd kind of pair off, or you would say, we're going to meet at the beach, we're going to meet at the show, we're going to meet whatever. And so now that we're seniors and we're starting to date again, like what does that look like once you've decided to meet? So Eric has sort of a list of things that he wanted to share and talk about from a man's point of view, and then I have some things that I wanted to share from a woman's point of view. So Eric, would you like to start?
Yes, I could start. I had a couple of questions from the comments from ladies. One of them was, is it okay if a woman comes up to a man and asks them to join him? And of course my answer was yes. That would be fun, and that would be flattering to the man, which it would be, to have a lady come up to you and want to join you. Another question was asked, how do you get over being nervous when you first meet up? I don't know if you really get over being nervous. I think that's part of the excitement about meeting somebody new. And being nervous is just a normal function of two people meeting each other for the first time.
Sure.
And you get enjoyment out of that. Getting over the nervousness, finding a subject that both of you can discuss on a level that both of you know, and to get to know each other better. And as you communicate with each other, the nervousness seems to disappear, and you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of the encounter and date if you have something in common that you can talk to each other about.
Right. Okay, so go back up to let's say you're at a bar, or you're at a ball game or something like that, and there's a gal that sees you. So like you would be fine with a gal coming over to you and saying, hey, what's your name? Or I noticed you, or I'd like to get to know you, or something like that. Like that would be okay. You wouldn't feel like, ooh, get away from me, you creep.
Okay. Well, if that happens on the dance floor, it's an easy switcheroo.
Right.
If you're dancing, you can always say, when you find somebody that you want to get to know, and you're dancing with somebody else, you can always say, hey, hey, I'm going to bow out right now, and kind of scoot around and then swing into the other space.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's certain times and places that you can do that a lot easier than others, and that's one of them.
Okay. So like if it happens naturally, you're at a bar, some gal sends you a drink and waves, kind of a thing, that would be appropriate.
Yes, that would be very appropriate. Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, I think both parties probably are a little bit nervous or excited, and that is part of the thrill. That's part of the fun of dating. For the first time, I'll say, and I think that's fine. Okay, so I did a little research. I watched a couple YouTube videos, and these ideas came from that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I have four, maybe five things to share. So number one is important, and it's kind of twofold. So one thing was I know, I'm sorry. Poppy's down here jumping all over the place. She has her toy and it's squeaking, and I had to take it away from her, and she's dying to get it back. And so, try not to make too big of a deal out of it. Like, try not, in other words, if you're meeting someone, instead of thinking in terms of, oh my gosh, do I look okay? What, I'm so nervous. Will I recognize him? Try to get out of your head and relax a little bit. And the important thing is to be more of they said, be interested in your date instead of interesting. And so by that, they went on to explain that it's important for a woman, I'll say, or the man, to be an active listener, to look at your date, look them in the eyes, respond, ask them questions. I know this is how I always start. When I first meet my date, usually they stand up, or they'll greet me, give me a hug, sometimes even a little kiss on the cheek. Fine with me. And then once we sit down and start talking, I usually will say something like, so tell me about yourself. Where did you grow up? That's a pretty neutral question. It gets them starting to talk. Plus, I want to start learning about who this person is. We obviously have hit it off to the point where we want to meet, where we want to have a date. Then once they elaborate on where they lived, I can ask more questions from that. Or I can say things like, tell me, do you have brothers and sisters? I try to stay away from something like, what's your occupation? Because I don't want them to think, she just wants to know how much money I have. If I say I'm a doctor, then she's going to, although I'm going to say that the profile from the dating site will usually have that information, but sometimes it's like I'm a retired businessman. I'm a retired consultant. It can still be vague. So, I try to stay away from that question because, once again, I don't want them to think I want to know their income level. So, and there are plenty of other things to ask, like, are you the only child? Oh, you're not? Well, where do your brothers and sisters live? And then, oh, I'm the only boy, or, oh, I have two sisters. Okay, then, tell me about that. I also try to stay away from asking about their immediate family right away. I don't want them to think I'm getting too personal. Like, oh, tell me, how many times have you been married and divorced? Or, how many kids do you have? How old are they? That I save those questions till later. And usually my date has offered that information. But I do, try to start the conversation by just asking where they grew up, where they're from. Do they have brothers and sisters, things like that. And then that usually will open the conversation. Okay, go on. Now you.
Okay. I'm gonna talk about some don'ts. Okay. My biggest don't is don't take your cell phone into a restaurant where you're having dinner with a gentleman. It's very annoying, and it's not, in my opinion, polite to do it. Leave the cell phone in your purse, or turn it off, or put it in your car.
Sure.
Okay. It's if he's there with you, he wants your full attention, and you should give him your full attention. That's a big thing with me. Mm-hmm. Also, there is the theory, not a theory, it's just, if a woman is interested in a man, she'll touch him, okay? And either on the arm or on the back, or if they're sitting next to each other. That's a big thing. That is huge. That means that a woman's interested in you. If a woman isn't interested in you, she will not touch you, period. And you can get a lot out of that. Mm-hmm. And those are two of the biggest things that I've learned. And to give the full attention, and to find some mutual ground that you can both discuss and communicate with.
Now, I know, like when I'm on a date, I'm a little shaky on my feet. Just normally, I don't have good balance. So if they meet me by my car or at the front of the restaurant, I will often say, "You lead the way," and then I will grab their hand because I want to feel steady on my feet. But that's one way that a woman can feel comfortable touching a man, and without it being aggressive. And also, I think like even when Eric and I were out to dinner, I'm very demonstrative anyway. It's just part of my nature. And so, I would touch his arm, I would touch his hand while we would talk or something. I think we were sitting in a booth. And so it was sort of natural that as we talked, I would say, "Oh, you're kidding," or whatever. So, yeah. So that's good to know. So from a man's point of view, that's something they would like.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing that I have written down here is to use their name when you talk. Now, I have gone out with men, and this drives me crazy, and you guys are going to know what I mean. I've gone out with men, and I think it's partly because they're on the autism scale, and don't laugh, but I really think that's true. They're on the scale. Is that how you say it? They're on the spectrum, and they don't look at you while they talk. So like let's say here's Eric, and I'm like saying, "Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, and I went to boarding school. Yeah, and then when I was 8, my dad went into the service," or whatever. That drives me crazy. And so sometimes I'll like try to redirect because I think, are they nervous, or is there a light shining in their eyes or something? But then when I realize, okay, they're not going to make eye contact with me. They must be on the spectrum. I don't know, but I do not like it. So if I have called some men out when I got to know them, and I would say, like, why are you looking over there? Because I'm here. Here's my face. And they're like, "Oh yeah, something grabbed my attention over there." And I think, "Oh, okay, well, fine. If something grabbed your attention, now I've brought it to your attention. Please look at me when you talk to me." So, okay, look at your date when you talk to them, and there's power in using their name. And this video that I watched said, use their name 3 times. So this is the example that they gave. They said, okay, so I would say, okay, Eric, you play along. "Oh, what's your name?"
Eric.
"Nice to meet you, Eric. Now, Eric, where are you from?" Okay, I've said their name 3 times, so that's going to help me remember their name. That's going to show them that I'm targeted in on them, and there's power in using someone's name. So, what's your name?
Eric.
"Nice to meet you, Eric. Eric, where are you from?" Boom. That's 3 times, and don't use it any more than that. It gets a little crazy. Okay, now what's something else on your list?
Something else. I was going to go over. We had also skipped over some of the free dating sites, and I just going to skim over it. If you want to go on, Facebook has a free dating site, and if you want to get on there, it won't cost you anything. And there's a little magnifying glass as you check into Facebook. There's a little magnifying glass up, which is a search engine. And so what you do is you hit your finger on that, and you put Facebook dating. That's all you say, and they'll pop up. And there's probably 5 or 6 sites that will pop up on that, and they will give you different parameters on each site, what each one of them will do for you, or what category you're in, such as if you're in seniors, or if you're in millennials, or wherever. They have different sites, and all you have to do is fill out the thing, and then once you do it once, you can join as many of those as you want to. And that's basically what I'm going to say about that. It's a very easy thing to do. It doesn't cost anything, and it's probably the best one for your money because it's absolutely free.
Another free site for dating, it's on an app called Neighbor. It's called Nextdoor, and it's in your vicinity, and it will have, you can find handyman or housekeepers or lost pet advertising. It's got all kinds of things that pertain to your neighborhood. And you can go on that and also say you're interested in adult or single, find a date kind of a thing, dating site free. Okay, so now another thing, another thing that was just very simple is that this man that I was watching on YouTube said that sometimes naturally, people have, like when they're just sitting still or in a relaxed state, their face can come off as sort of boring looking, like they're bored with what's going on. And that practice see if you have that kind of a face naturally, and if so, smile. That's bottom line. That's the theme here, is to smile. And to smile while you're with your date, smile when you meet your date, and to be an active listener. And an active listener is someone that, that is looking at their date, is, nodding, shaking their head, smiling, approving, disapproving. They're reacting to the conversation that the gentleman is conversing and talking about. They're not just sitting there, staring. Put effort into being a listener. Put effort into the conversation, whether you're the one doing the talking or you're the one doing the listening.
I couldn't say it any better.
Okay, what else do you have on yours, on your list?
Oh, well, the other thing is, I got asked about the photographs, about when you put a photograph into a site. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're important. Mm-hmm. And the biggest one that I have is somebody taking a picture for a dating site, and putting a mask on.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Mm-mm. You're alone, you're whatever, and you put a mask on, and then shoot all your photos with a mask on.
Okay.
Well, that's not going to go over.
Right.
You might as well just,
not put up
put a bag over your head and shoot that. 2 eyeballs out of it. I don't know. What the heck? Let's put a bag over our head and shoot it.
Well, and that, that gets into, I have another thing here, that appearance matters. And, yes, we would like to live in a perfect world where, people can see your inside beauty as well as the outside. But, put effort into your date and dress appropriately. So like if you're going to a nice restaurant, more of a formal restaurant, dress appropriately. If you're going to a ball game or you're going to go to the park for a picnic, dress appropriately. And so, yeah, I think, it is if you're looking for a partner, put your best foot forward, and that means, be clean, be well groomed, and be dressed appropriately. Sometimes I have met once or twice. Well, once I know for sure. I met a man at a nice restaurant. He had just come from the gym. He said he was a little bit late, not much, but a little bit late because he had to shower, and his hair was still wet. He had on a warm-up suit with a zip up the front sweatshirt, and he was dressed completely inappropriately. And here I had taken time to totally fluff up, and then he comes jogging over from the gym with his hair still wet. So that did not impress me much.
Well, that's exactly it. You're going to put, the more effort you put into something, the more reward you're going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you put no effort into it, don't expect to get much out of it. Mm-hmm. Okay? And if you don't, and if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to find somebody that is you're going to hit it off with. Okay? Because you put the effort in, they put the effort in. If you both put effort into it, then that's a big plus.
Right.
Okay? And if you don't put the effort in, don't expect anything out of it.
Right.
That's it. It's a simple thing. With anything in the world, that's the amount of effort you put into something, it reflects on what you're going to get out of it back.
Another thing that I have written down is to compliment the man. Once again, you're trying to make a good impression. And so compliment. And so, for example, if you've been with the gentleman for a couple hours or an hour and a half, and you could say something like, you know what I really like about you? I can tell you're really adventurous. Or, one thing I'm finding I'm loving is that, it sounds like you have a lot of courage, whatever. It doesn't have to be about a certain shirt they have on or how they look. It can be something about their character. I love it that you're so well educated. I love it that you're so well spoken. That's so so hot. Whatever. So yes, it is nice to receive a compliment. And I think sometimes women receive compliments more than men do. So if you want to stand out in a man's mind, smile at them, be a good listener, use their name, compliment them.
They say the only time a man gets flowers is at his funeral.
Ooh, that's pretty scary.
Okay? That's a fact.
That is really scary.
That's
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad.
So, you want to pump up some man, there's one way of doing it, okay?
Bring him a flower.
That's it.
Yes. Okay, I have just a few little factoids here written down. Posture is important. Posture shows confidence. And I think sometimes, especially as we age, we can begin to get kind of hunched over, or, we don't always, stand up straight with our shoulders back. I read recently where for women, probably for men too, and they used, if they used some models or something for examples, but that your chin should be parallel to the floor when you walk. So posture shows confidence and is important. Another thing to think about is, I thought this was interesting, to watch your pacing. So for example, don't rush through the date. Don't be a fast talker. Try not to eat fast. Try not to, move and, watch your pacing. Enjoy the evening. Even your speech, you don't have to talk fast. If you can't think of something to say, don't say anything. It's okay to put yourself on pause for a while. And also, along with that, the video mentioned that when you do talk, watch your intonation, so that sometimes you can say things that come off, you don't mean them, but they come off like maybe in angrily because of the tone of your voice, or like a little bit of an emergency, like I'm ready to go or something, that you can just watch maybe in your nervousness and anxiety, watch your intonation as you do talk and as you do communicate, so that you don't come off, angry or too vulnerable. Do you want to talk about this? We did talk about this. This is interesting.
Oh, we're going to talk about how someone smells, the type of cologne that a man wears or a woman wears. Can she wear too much perfume?
Right.
Can a man overindulge himself in colognes? That's an issue. I try to cologne up once in a while, like I have 4 different ones, and I've been trying to get a reaction from this lady here, and it seems like it flies right over. So I'm still working on it. So I haven't found the magic potion yet.
Well, yeah, I think that's interesting. Like I have to say, I do like a man that wears cologne. I like the cologne. Not too strong, because I can get very allergic to certain fragrances, but I like that. I like men, and I like the smell of a man, and if he has like a little cologne on his neck, when you go to hug him or something, I think that can be a turn on. I like that, as long as it's not too saturated. And on the other hand, I really don't wear fragrance because, first of all, I'm too allergic to it. Secondly, I'm also, because of being a career woman, I've been told and taught and educated to not wear a fragrance and cologne on the job. That be respectful of other people who might be allergic and not maybe like the fragrance you're wearing. And also I told Eric, I wear hairspray and my cosmetics have fragrance in them. So I think just by that, I have, a certain fragrance that just goes along with hairspray and face lotions and things like that. But I like it when men wear cologne.
Also, you want to make the person you're with feel pleasure.
Yes.
That's a big thing also. We're gonna probably getting close to wrapping this up. But one of the biggest things is after the date to make sure that you give this person pleasure. And if you can give this person pleasure, then you're gonna get a second and a third and whatever, how many dates.
Okay, well now let's define pleasure. Because what I'm thinking is like to make sure we actually have this written down. That you want to make sure the person has had a pleasurable evening.
Smiling.
That they have felt pleasure, that they have felt like they have enjoyed themselves, that they would remember you, they would want to spend more time with you because you have provided them with a pleasurable experience.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Define it even further. Okay. Yes. But that's important, very important. Mm-hmm. And anything else?
Yeah,
We covered that.
I think we've covered a lot.
Okay.
And so I hope that at least gives our viewers, our friends, some ideas, some things that we have experienced and that we want to share with you guys. So with that, are we done?
We're done.
Okay, P.S. I love you. Mwah. Until
Thumbs
our
up.
next conversation. Bye-bye.
Bye.